choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. This quote in JFK's "We Choose to Go to the Moon" speech interests me the most out of its entirety, because not only did it inspire Americans to put a man on the moon, but it also shows why humans really accomplish anything. Kennedy's speech is a model for any present and future speaker who wants to convince their audience to follow them or what they advocate for through encouragement and motivational speaking. First up is where and when. JFK delivered his speech at Rice University in Houston, Texas on September 12th in 1962. At this time frame, the space race was going on, which was basically like the Soviet Union and the US competing to see who could put a man on the moon first. And the winner of this would pretty much deem themselves technologically and intellectually superior to the other. Next is JFK's background. Just a quick summary of his life. He was born in the year 1917 in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. He graduated from Harvard University in 1940. Soon after that, he entered the Navy during World War II in 1943, and eventually ran for and was elected as the 35th President of the United States in 1960. Significance of then versus now. Then, JFK's main goal was to give the speech to motivate the public in America to help with financial funds for the whole space race and to have the US win against the Soviet Union. And he ultimately succeeded in that, where they did give a lot of support and financial aid and then won the space race. And then now, this speech really can provide inspiration to any present or future person if they want to work to achieve a goal. Basically, it shows if something deemed impossible then was accomplished, then something we might deem impossible now could probably still be accomplished with enough resources, motivation, and time. Here is an excerpt from JFK's moon speech.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too. We shall send to the moon 240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field.
That's about it. Rhetorical devices used in his speech. First up is Antithesis. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. The antithesis here is him comparing two opposites at the same time that increase, the two opposites being knowledge and ignorance. What JFK means by this is that the more we learn about a topic, the more we realize how unaware we were or maybe still are about that same topic, which a good example would be space. Next up is Parallelism. We meet at a college noted for knowledge, in a city noted for progress, in a state noted for strength, and we stand in need of all three. He's pretty much addressing the place he's giving his speech at Rice University in succession of like its size from the college to the city to the state. And finally is a simile, assembled in a new building to be built at Cape Canaveral, as tall as a 48-story structure, as wide as a city block, and as long as 2 lengths of this field. He's talking about the football field at the university. He basically compares the planned project rocket size to many large-scale objects seen in the simile to show the real extremity of this goal and highlighting the urgency that the public do help as a collective whole to achieve this. Persuasion techniques. First up is Ethos. He already has a significant title as the 35th president, so out of anything he could have had, like a doctor or a lawyer, I feel like that's a pretty professional title in itself. Next is his formal attire. He wears a suit and clean-shaven face, and his hair isn't messy, so he looks like he's ready to give his speech and be heard. Next is Pathos. He connects with his wording and phrasing, his word choice. He not only connects to the audience's self-identity as individual Americans, but he also gives the audience a sense of belonging as the nation, like as a whole. Like, not saying that the government achieved this or that he achieved this, but that America achieved this. And last is Logos. He compares the Moon Project to past human accomplishments, like things as early and simple as clothes and shelter, to more recent ones like airplanes, telephones, automobiles, and electricity. Why will it endure? JFK's speech is an inspirational speech for any future space project going forward because of just how basic and most well-known and famous it is out of any space goal or achievement. And this speech will really only be irrelevant when nothing needs to be fixed further in the world, pretty much when it is virtually perfect. And this speech really just goes beyond goals involving space. Like I said before, he shows why humans invent or discover anything, because it's hard, and when you accomplish something, it's more satisfying when you do. And this Moon speech will always serve as a model example for new speakers wanting to persuade or gain support from any audience. Thank you for listening.